co-host Locke, and this is the podcast where we drink, smoke, and bullshit about the life of a historic criminal. Now we're talking outlaws and gangsters. We're not going to cover too many serial killers. That's just a little bit dark for me, and this ain't no true crime podcast. Honestly, you can't call this a history podcast because I'm no historian. I'm just a history fan that does some research and bullshits about it with his friends. So speaking of my friends, let me introduce you to my co-host. First with us today, we got Tone.
What up?
After a long stay off, back by popular demand, we got Lorraine Mcclain.
How's it going?
And then we got with us, not his first time on the show, but the first time for you guys, we got Fred.
What's up? Glad to be here. Thank you.
So he was on a couple of our unreleased gems that...
Maybe one day they'll come out.
Everybody that's done the podcast has been victim of those at some point. That's just what happens when you have me. Not only drinking, but engineering and doing it all. We end up with a couple turns at the beginning, but you know, I kind of got it now.
I was on 25 of these things.
Just a couple bombs happening.
On this podcast, I'm like Chuck on Are We Done Yet? All right, now here's I'm actually the editor also. Here we go. All right. So this is the first episode of our second season of the podcast.
Happy New Year.
Woo!
So, it turns out I brag about the growth of the podcast. So I guess we just did that in the season finale. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to break down all the numbers again, but
we weren't there. You go ahead.
It's all right.
You'll hear it. It's cool.
You were there.
we got better. That's the moral of the story. The goal for season 2 is to hit the hundreds of thousands of downloads threshold. Mm-hmm. Keep growing the social media.
So tell your friends.
Yeah. Please tell a friend.
Tell your grandma.
One day, Tone, you were the only listener.
Yeah.
And that was when we were doing like Mad Max movie reviews.
Right, off a USB drive, right?
I don't know, man. I talk about it like it's a fundraiser.
That's the way to do it. Everybody, do what Fred does. Tell all your friends.
I just found out my girl had a TikTok, and I'm like, oh, you need to subscribe to me. And she went on there, and we started looking, and we were like, damn, he's got a pretty decent amount of followers. And we're looking, and she's like, yeah, look at everybody else underneath. Like everyone that popped up within your category or whatever. I don't know how it works, but they're all like 5,000 listeners.
So you guys saying I need a TikTok?
I mean, if you do, subscribe to ours for sure.
Never had it, so
give it a try.
Overnight, we just broke 25,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big.
Nice job.
So what I figured, since this is the first episode of season 2, we try and do something big. So I got Fred on, and now Fred is younger than me, but he's still like my go-to whiskey guy. So he's kind of the guru.
You know, not much younger.
As we get older, that gap is less and less.
Yes.
Oh, we pretend.
But you're definitely the go-to whiskey guy of the group. You spent quite a bit of time down in Kentucky.
Yes.
And
I enjoy it.
Not in Louisville, in Louisville.
Whoa. No Louisville going on.
Louis.
It has this L in it from somewhere. Louisville.
That's the official title of the city. But in honor of it being the first episode of season 2, and then having our designated whiskey aficionado on, we busted out some Blanton's.
Delicious.
Which is
hard
a Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
And hard to find.
Single
also.
barrel.
You want to break it down for us a little bit, Freddie?
It's just made in Frankfort, Kentucky, and made by the same people as Buffalo Trace, named after one of the distillers there that became actually the president.
The actual building, it's called like the Blanton's factory, right?
I believe so.
Like in the Buffalo Trace compound.
Can't remember how long it's aged, but it does taste delicious.
Yes, it's very good.
And the bottles are collectible. Each one has a letter on it for Blanton's, and drink them and collect them.
What letter do you got?
Today's letter is...
What was on the other bottle? The B?
A T.
A T.
It's an L.
So today's letter of the day is L for lock.
Lock.
But so this is the first time we've
good.
had an empty Blanton's bottle in the studio for a long time. But this will be our first time having actual Blanton's in the studio.
That was hard to find. It's only been looking for like a year, I think.
Yeah.
And it sold out in one day.
So
Within
pretty
an
good.
hour.
So you like it, Tom?
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
It's
And I'm not, I think I said it before, I'm not really a whiskey guy or bourbon.
Well, welcome to being a whiskey guy.
Well, especially you like drinks, period, but you're not like a straight whiskey, just whiskey on ice kind of guy.
Right. I think the only thing I could really drink straight is tequila.
Well, I think that's part of your heritage.
Yeah.
You're genetically predisposed
Right,
to being better at
right.
drinking tequila than most people.
Damn, no stereotypes.
They are true.
It's good though, man.
Yeah, so
Death
we
Star
got us
Mountain.
some Blanton's on some Death Star ice cubes, as per usual.
And did you watch that Mandalorian?
No,
I did the season finale.
Look at Diddy's shirt.
Did you see finish off the season though?
Yes, I cried a little. Made me tear up. Had to walk out the room. Cut an onion.
Good on you.
I seen a meme that said the Mandalorian finale is my favorite of the new Star Wars movies.
Yeah. That was the
True
shit.
story.
Yeah. That was great.
You know, Jon Favreau just fucked up his back real bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from carrying the whole franchise on his shoulders.
Damn.
Now, before we get started, like usual, we got to make sure we thank Sixfo Sueno for letting us use his music in the intro. You can go follow him on Instagram, and then Cancer for letting us use his music in the mid-roll. You can follow him on Instagram at Eyes Bleed Defiance. He's got all his photography, graphic arts. You can see our logo. He's the one that did our logo. And then while you're on your Instagram, you can follow us at Bad Guy Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're having a hard time finding anything, you could click all the links through at badguypodcast.com. Because I know Sixfo Sueno, the foe is F-O-E, and Cancer, they're rappers. You know what I mean? They can't make it easy. So the E is a 3. So worst case scenario, go to the website, click through there.
Gotta be clever.
So we'll go ahead and get started. And the bad guy we're covering today is Maurice Lerner.
This ain't negotiation time. This is Scarface, final scene, fucking bazookas under each arm. Say hello to my little friend.
Maurice.
So Maurice is a space cowboy. And,
Yeah.
So some people call him Space Cowboy,
token.
some people call him a Gangster of Love, and some people call him Maurice. That's a big swing in a different direction, man.
Maurice. Pro.
Yeah, so we got Maurice Lerner, a.k.a. Pro.
Is that like the shortest nickname out of gangsters? Because
So
most
far.
of them have like something crazy. No, this dude's just pro.
Was he pro? Was he sports player?
Or he's just pro something.
He's pro
Yeah,
gangster.
I bet he's gonna be a pro at something.
Getting that money.
It is the shortest nickname. It's the first one that's like an efficient nickname because a lot of times the nicknames are like longer versions or stupid versions. Like this actual functions like a real nickname.
And has
It
nothing to do
shortens
with
it.
anything usually.
So Pro Lerner was born December 20th, 1935 into a Jewish family in Brookline, Massachusetts. He grew up in a duplex 2 miles from Fenway Park and was an exceptional baseball player.
Yes. He was a pro baseball player.
He is pro baseball?
I'm pro baseball.
It's America's pastime. This whole goddamn country's pro baseball.
He's gonna be a pro swinging that bat at somebody's head, probably.
He claimed to have a happy childhood, but he had an absentee father that never told him he loved him and never came to any of his games.
So on Instagram, he was a family man.
Well, on the plus, his dad was there, never there to shut him down.
That is true. I never held you back. I never stopped you from doing anything. I mean, I never supported you either,
But I
but
never
come on.
stopped you.
Despite popular beliefs, he was actually given the nickname Pro as a kid, and it was short for Little Professor because he was known to be smart and he was always reading a lot. He was like a sharp kid, so they used to call him Little Professor, which got shortened to Pro. By the time Pro was a senior in high school, he was 6'2" and batted .364 his senior year.
Whoa.
Big boy.
He got drafted by the Washington Senators minor league system to play second and third base. At 18 years old, in his first year of minor league baseball, he hit 167 over 13 games, played terrible, and decided to put his major league dreams on hold and join the Marines.
Damn.
Yeah, that average, probably a better call.
When he returned from the military at the age of 21, he returned to pro baseball, this time in the Milwaukee Braves farm system. His game returned to form, and in 1957, he played 127 games with a batting average of .328, hitting 5 home runs.
There you go.
There's the Marines for you, boy.
Right.
Put some pep in the step.
He bounced around for a little bit. In addition to being in the Washington system and the Braves system, he spent a little bit of time in the Pittsburgh Pirates system
Okay.
too. He monitored his nutrition and maintained a weightlifting routine at a time when this was uncommon for baseball players.
Marines.
Baseball, even to this day, it's one of the sports where it's the least physical. No, these guys are still good athletes, but if you're going to see a fat professional athlete, it's probably either golf or baseball.
Right.
Sabathia.
Right. CC Sabathia.
Cecil
Fuck it.
Fielder.
Bartolo Colon. Like, Bartolo Colon looks like he stinks.
Eddie Fielder.
To look like you stink.
Even though his game came back to form, he had a lot of self-sabotaging tendencies. So anytime he'd have a chance to get promoted, he'd always mess it up. Like he'd get in an argument with the manager or, skip practice and miss a couple games. So anytime it seemed like things were going smooth, he'd fuck up and then it just keep sliding down.
Daddy issues.
Daddy
He
issue.
didn't know how to act like a man because he didn't have a man to teach him.
Right. Yeah, I know some people like that.
Call him out.
Call 'em out.
What's up?
First and last name. Let's go. We're going to deal with this right now. Say hello to Bad Guy Podcast. We're fixing real societal problems, okay?
Intervention coming soon.
By 1961, he had worked his way up to Double-A ball, but he was also arrested for the first time for armed robbery of a Boston furniture store and sentenced to 3 years probation.
They need to
Wow.
pay those damn athletes more.
Jeez, yeah. What were they paying him?
Well, you Double-A, you ain't getting paid nothing anyway, so
Oh,
you had to make ends meet.
he needed a couch. He needed a couch.
You need a new bat.
Actually, at one point at his peak, it would say at his peak he was making about $700 a month,
Oh,
but for a couple months out of the year because baseball wasn't year round.
right.
Yeah.
This is the 60s. This isn't, the 200 million contract eras.
And I believe like the seasons were actually shorter then too, right?
Yeah. Some of the seasons, especially since he bounced around from D ball to Double-A, like sometimes there's ones where he'd play in like 100-something games or seasons where he'd play in 40 games.
Yeah.
Several months after that, he was arrested for conspiracy to commit armed robbery and illegal possession of a firearm. He was caught, him and one of his homies, in the middle of a robbery. So since they got caught before the guy had actually coughed anything up, it wasn't robbery. It was conspiracy to commit robbery.
Which is sometimes worse.
How long did he go to jail?
He didn't. The first one he got probation. This time he'd later beat out the charges, but the Brookline police were watching him for now. Now he's got a couple of arrests under his belts, and he gets taken under the wing of a well-known criminal named Johnny Red Kelly.
Johnny Red Kelly.
Is he Irish?
He is. What tipped you off?
I think it was the Kelly.
I was gonna say the last name Kelly or the nickname Red. Like those just both scream Irish. And he's in Boston. You know how many Red Kellys there probably are kicking
Right.
around in Boston?
To this day, probably a lot.
His average would continue to dip as he would get in trouble for passing bad checks in Tennessee, stealing a TV from a hotel room.
And he's the reason why they screw him down now. Way to go, pro.
This one's color.
This is the story of when they started screwing everything down in
Wait.
hotel rooms.
Oh, he got caught with a TV. He didn't
Yep.
take the towels.
Right? Well, those technically are baked into the charges. They couldn't get him on that. They're like, hey, this TV we can get you with, though, motherfucker.
They had to drop those charges. And the soap.
Yeah, the soap and this coffee. I guess we got to let you go, but you cannot take this fucking TV, man. He also started spending a lot of time. He would skip time at baseball to go hustle college kids at pool halls.
You guys are laughing, but he probably made more money hustling back then than what he did playing ball.
Oh yeah.
He's like, practice? We're talking about practice?
Pool used to be a big money maker.
On August 14th, 1962, Lerner was thought to be part of a crew Red Kelly put together to pull off the Plymouth mail truck robbery. They got away with $1.5 million, which at the time was the largest cash robbery.
In the mail truck?
Yep.
What was it like in Christmas cards?
I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
What's up with that?
Well, it was before UPS.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Oh, yeah.
it's got to be
Yeah,
like.
CODs, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing it's got to be like one of those Lufthansa heist things. Like, they had an idea of what mail truck they were robbing. It wasn't a coincidence.
It was somewhat inside.
That's one thing, and we'll cover it more. Red Kelly, he was a real good planner.
Okay.
Now, there's been bigger robberies since then, but at that time it was the largest. At 1.5 mil, is the equivalent of $12 million today.
Dang.
A little bit more than the contract.
There ain't 12 million on any truck today.
There's not that much in the bank today.
You don't think so?
No.
Go ask him with a note.
So Pro Lerner, he ended up marrying a lady named Irene Siegel, and they had 2 kids, Glenn and Jenny.
I'm going to go rob a truck, Jenny.
Run. Lerner, run.
We going to run.
Sorry.
Whoa, Nick.
No riffing on this
Got
show.
another apologizer here.
Right? I didn't mean to be funny on the show.
Right.
Or the
Sorry
funny
for being
show.
funny.
It's kind of the fucking point.
Oh.
It's what we brought you for. By 1963, he was a 27-year-old bus league player making very little money with a wife and 2 kids. He opted to walk away from baseball that year, having played 482 professional games with 24 home runs and a career average of 308.
And he just walked away?
Well, he never made it to the big leagues because every time he would get close, he would fuck up. So he got stuck on bus league ball. When you're 27, you got a wife and kids, and you're just getting on a bus, driving from town to town to play a game every day for very little money. In the meantime, you got
kids to pay for and a wife.
a sixth of $1.5 million stashed away. You're like, fuck this bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to stay. Just go rob another truck.
But I think, like, if you look at some of these highlights, like right here, 41 games in the Pittsburgh minor league system, he hit 372 with 7 home runs. So the guy could play. I read a guy that would go on to be a future major leaguer that had played with him in the minors said his best year in the minors, he was a distant second to Pro Lerner. He said Lerner was always the best hitter on the team.
And just couldn't pipe it down to make it.
Wait, so is Pro Lerner in the Hall of Fame?
No, he
No,
never
not
made
after
it
the
past
story.
Double
No.
A.
You got to make it to the pros for that.
Uh,
Can't be on the bus league.
He's a Hall of Fame of fuck-ups.
that's what I meant.
He
Like,
did not
can you-
respect their authority.
Can you be tall and athletic and really, really good and still not make it? Watch
Yes.
me.
Hold my beer.
Hold my
Go rob this
Blantons.
mail truck.
In addition to his 24 home runs and his 308 career average, he was also the suspect in multiple robberies, included the Boston 5-cent Savings Bank and the Suburban National Bank. Even though he left professional baseball, he continued his workout routines, and he also built a target range in his basement.
Like shooting range?
Yes.
He must have had a good sized basement.
Yeah, and those kids don't sleep or what?
So
When he got
Big
money
ass
as
probably dug a
insulation,
tunnel
dude.
down there.
To go robbing.
Right.
Tell us it's true.
Mattresses on the ceiling. It's good.
reading that he had a shooting range in his basement, that sounded like street legend bullshit. I deal with that a lot doing research. So I checked multiple sources, and it's for sure true because it was in a police report from later. So he for sure had a shooting range in his basement. Like when you were talking about his kids, the first thing I thought when I read it was, like, he lives near Boston. He's like 2 miles from Fenway Park. Like, if I was to start firing off guns in his basement,
Yeah.
like, somebody would call the police pretty fucking quick, man.
Very
Right.
quick.
Maybe he had the best soundproof setup ever.
Or he had a hell of a setup to make sure that they didn't talk about hearing it, which I would
You
say
know,
would
when you're
probably be the better.
6'2" working out, former Marine. Might have that little factor there to scare people.
Do they have suppressors back then?
Probably shitty ones. Suppressors don't work the way we see them on TV. I'm guessing, like you said, 6'2" ex-Marine. You know, there's just more like, hey, do you hear that? Like, no, we don't hear nothing. Shut
Yeah,
up.
I don't hear shit.
Hey, you got this pillow. Put the muzzle in it.
Mind your business.
He was known to have a cool but intimidating demeanor and an ability to strike fear into people he confronted.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that
That
sums up.
explains it.
I guess I should have read that part before
Yeah.
we spent 3 minutes trying to figure out why we got away with that.
Yeah, well,
That's all right.
we
You
got a
didn't
little
really
ahead
hear
of
anything,
ourselves.
did you, buddy?
No, I don't hear shit.
Hey, would you like to come down there and check it out?
No.
I'm working on something here.
So what you building in that basement?
None of your business.
Why you being so fucking nosy there?
Thank you, because I was just about to say, like, anywhere on the East Coast, I just give him a New York accent. He's a Jewish dude from fucking Boston. I just made him an Italian guy from Brooklyn.
J-Bone would have had it.
Right?
Oh yeah,
He'd have nailed that.
for sure.
So, legend has it he proved his worth as an enforcer after dealing with a low-level associate that fell out of favor. Pro rung his doorbell and then beat him with a bat when he answered the door.
What the hell?
This brought him to the attention of the New England Mafia, the Patriarcha family who ran all the organized crime out of Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston. Kind of like, wow, we found us a minor league prospect. This kid's got some talent.
This guy got balls.
We got us a new accent guy, man. That's gonna work.
Well, he was probably back then. He was the only real tall guy.
This guy, he's good
Like
with
you
a
don't
bat
hang
there,
out
Charlie.
with a bunch of tall guys back in the, I was gonna say 30s, but it's probably
6'2"
the
back
60s.
then. I mean, it's also uncommon for that time, I believe.
I think it's really weird. So when we look at like mafia families, you know, like you got New York, they have 5 families, right? All right in New York.
Yes, sir.
And then you got upstate New York, the Buffalino family. Then the New England mafia family is like all of those little states that are too small on the map. They cover like Connecticut, all of them.
Vermont.
Yeah.
All in
Yeah.
one.
But they're based out of Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island,
Mm-hmm.
in Boston. So have you ever seen The Departed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So you know that part where Leonardo DiCaprio beats the fuck out of those two Italian dudes?
Yes, there's guys to mess with and guys you can't mess with.
At one point, they made a reference in there to having to go back up to Rhode Island.
Yes.
So-
talk it out.
Anytime you're dealing with like, anytime you hear any mafia stuff and you hear people talking about Rhode Island is a big mob city. Providence,
It
Small-
can't be too big.
smallest state in the union, big mob ties.
Bigger than what you think there.
Plus Family Guy.
Yeah, and I think they actually are the New England family represents Quahog.
Cog. Giggity.
After making a crew of guys that had robbed a connected bookie disappear, he had secured his reputation as an underworld enforcer.
Wonder why.
Right. I knew that was coming.
He had it 6'2". Good with a bat.
Well, and that's why I wanted to make sure I hit up front that they called that the name Pro comes from Little Professor, because everybody, when they hear the story, they see he was a pro baseball player and they assume like, oh, Pro Lerner because he was a pro baseball player.
Me, I
Yes.
said that.
So did he just get
Well, what's that
dumber? Because they said he was a smart child, but you know, you fucking up. Like, I understand, like you're smart. Some people are just smart at certain things, but
He was too smart for his own good. He thought he was better than him.
you think be a little smarter to get yourself, not get yourself into some
Hey.
deep shit.
Geniuses always have problems with
Fuck
some
up.
things.
Fuck your career up or something.
I think, like we read earlier, he was a little bit self-destructive.
Yeah.
So that could come with, a bad upbringing or whatever.
Right.
We don't really know. But I think we look at it because we know the story. We know that way in the future we are now talking about this story
Right.
about criminals
Right.
that I find. So we know this is going to go in a certain direction.
Mhm.
At this time, Pro Lerner thinks
I'm good.
I'm killing it.
Right.
I'm moving up in this world.
Right.
The
Glad I
plan
told
was smart. The execution, it just
I told them coaches are fucking stupid there. I got this shit here.
Pro Lerner's reputation with the Patriarcha family continued to grow along with his reputation for violence.
now he's beating his wife and his kids.
No, he always
No.
stayed a good family guy, so he's a good husband, good father, but he was good at violence. Like he used to like almost keep his stats on how he was doing.
Nice.
Marines.
Yeah,
like-
some Marine and
Marine.
baseball shit right there.
Marine and baseball.
I thought baseball, but now that you mention it, yeah, Marines are big on they have like confirmed kills and
Mhm.
shit like that. But yeah, he used to keep track of. Well, I was the first one through the door. I'm the guy that ran this guy down. I'm the guy that.
Which might be downfall if he had that stuff wrote down.
I don't know if he wrote it down. I think it's just something he bragged about.
Hope it wasn't a diary.
I don't know. My cuts should be bigger. I went through that door first.
Right. In baseball, everything counts.
See, look, I got the stats right here.
Yeah.
Remember that neighbor? I took him down.
Oh,
I shoved his head in the water there, made sure he couldn't breathe.
Your bullet didn't kill him, mine did.
Right.
The Patriarcha family began to use him so much that he was eventually assigned a lieutenant Fat Vinny Teresa as his contact for the family.
Well, so
Fat
we're
Vinny Teresa.
we're
Yeah.
body shaming now.
So this is Fat Vinny. Just in
Oh,
case
yeah.
you guys were.
How did he get that nickname?
How did he get that much neck?
How did he get them glasses to fit?
What neck?
He's got to use a collar extender.
Holy
That's-
shit.
That's chin.
Those
That's all
weren't-
chin.
Those weren't invented yet.
Hey, that checkage right there ain't helping him.
As a large man that has to wear collared shirts, that motherfucker needs a collar extender. There's no way he's just buying shirts that are fitting like that.
Looks like he breathes very well.
I like how in that mugshot they got that they got that fucking platelet like under his second
It's
chin.
hanging on his second chin.
Yeah.
Wait, that looks like the Family Guy
Hey.
neck.
Could you block this neck for me with this plate? Look, dude, he has like the fat sweat on his hair. Like, oh, thank God them guys gave me the donuts.
We cover a lot of fucking mafia guys that have crazy names, and I just, put them. I don't do a lot of pictures of guys because it's always people we could cover
Yeah.
someday. But when I seen this picture of Fat Vinny, I'm like, oh no, I have to
showing
make
this
sure
one.
everybody knows when we say Fat Vinny,
This is fat Vinny. No PH.
yeah, we are not bullshitting.
This
Vinny
is-
is a
yes.
fat man.
So he didn't mind being called fat?
I don't think that he had a choice there.
They just run.
Yeah, usually when you're that big, you don't
You're
really
like-
care. You're just like, yeah, I got this way for a reason.
That's why y'all paying me and I'm eating good. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's got mirrors, he's a mobster, and he's a lieutenant, so he knows what he's doing. He's probably been called Fat Vinny for fucking 20-something
Yeah,
years.
you ain't gonna say it to us.
Well,
Well, they call him Fat.
They
he's
hung
been
up.
working on this for a while here. I mean, he done his time. He got where he is for a reason. He's gonna enjoy it.
They hung out with Skinny Vinny.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he started out as.
It's harder to say.
As he started getting money, see what happens.
As his stock continued to rise within the Patriarcha family, he always stayed loyal to Red Kelly. So they would continue to work together, and their success grew over the next couple years. A quote from the New England Historical Society described the pair. It said, Red was precise and disciplined, and Pro was calm and smart. And Red,
Sounds like a good team.
yeah, and Red was a good planner. He was very organized. He was very detail-oriented, and Pro Lerner was a killer. So the two of them together, you got it's the classic matchup, Master Blaster. You got
Master Blaster.
you got the brains and the brawn.
Pinky in the brain.
Yeah, so even though he was rising in the Patriarcha family, he also could never be a made guy because he was Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason. Red Kelly was his first connection when he was just robbing furniture stores part-time when it wasn't baseball season. This guy took him under his wing. So he's like, well, yeah, I'll take these hits, and, I'm trying to work my way up.
Well, Red couldn't be a made man either if he's Irish.
Right, so that's why he stayed with him. He's like, well,
Got a
yeah,
good
that's
thing
cool.
going.
I'll always take that work, but I'm not going to forget about my boy.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
Yup.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a real quick smoke break. We'll refill our drinks, and we'll be back in a minute.
Dear mama, these amateur cannibals crave power. Grave robbers, murder for favor from fake fathers. Disorder in the chapel with shackles to break out of. They cower, solo but mob 'em and they crowd us. Spilling in the street with heat like hot lava. Pop bottles, molotovs tossed and rocks follow. Ominous disciples like vipers, they strike quickly. Come at me like an army, I'm tearing you down with me. Spit like a baron, rulers are bred like Kaiser. Roll with the goal and get beaten like outsiders. These amateur animals swing in the wrong jungle. Climbing the wrong vines mean these lions will snuff you. Concrete wilderness building our own structures. Writing our own order, appointing our own judges. Overthrowing authority, morally lack conscience. Fighting for survival with rivals with throat punches. Dear mama, these amateur cannibals crave saviors. Poor savages ravage for animal bits. They just monitor the area carrying curved swords. Slither in the bright assorting them. Court of honor corroded as soon as it was awarded. Celebrations were thwarted before they could be supported. Rolling thunder bombarded them, flaming dark put a part in them. Separate and disarm them and send the bulls to the parliament. Operation Niagara, Viet Cong on the battle with landmines and grenades and flamethrowers to scatter them. Dear mama, this battle is harder than what we thought it'd be. Every part of me scarred, I'll be recognized when they mortar me. It's almost time to run, put on your army helmets now. You're running toward the sun with all your guns, defenses down. Flashes everywhere, the lights create an atmosphere. Water in your lungs, you pray for death, but life is here. You're about to die, face it, you're about to die. Zero sand in your glass, fuck it, you can't even cry. Put a dagger to your neck, just to keep yourself in check. Put a dagger to your neck, just to keep yourself in check. Everybody grab a side as you fight to stay alive. Dancing on a hand grenade so you can die and they survive. Silver bullets in the sky, dropping 7-second death. Scattering the children, run, rub until there's nothing left. Ashes in the water, sons and daughters hold their flags up high. Wallow in the harbor as the military tanks arrive. Penetrate the border with disorder like an animal. Every war has the honor of turning kings into cannibals.
All right, and we're back.
Welcome
Woo.
back.
So we got us some brews this time around. Tone, you're over there rolling your beer.
He's rolling one up.
Yeah. Got one of Tank's favorites here. Cart Horse, Old Nation. I had it before, but it's been a while. It's pretty fucking good.
Old Nations definitely has the IPAs
Yes.
on lock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fitting because I'm looking at it from here and it says New England IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're talking about that.
He's
Just,
covering New
just a
England.
coincidence, man. I
know?
knew
What?
nothing about the episode.
No, you should lie. and say the new-
It's all luck,
It-
man.
It was a
luck.
premonition.
Right.
Just lucky like that.
Fred, you got Old Nations beer too, right?
Yeah, keep it in nation. One nation after all. I'm drinking the B43, which is a new Orthodox India Pale Ale series. It's not 7.1 alcohol, but it's 7% and delicious.
What do you have in after 3?
4.
Um,
I'm also drinking a little bit of a new whiskey that I ain't had.
Basil Hayden,
Yeah, this rye. You said
Yeah.
it's a dark rye?
dark rye.
It's pretty delicious.
See, I said the name right. Basil.
Yeah, Basil Hayden.
I guess I've been saying Basil.
Basil?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I'm like a Dungeons and Dragons dork. So to me, I see that it sounds like I don't know. It sounds like an elf or something, right? Basil, the wizard, right? He's a half elf. Yeah, Basil. I got it. No, it's Basil Hayden, a dark rye.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's
whiskey.
pretty good.
I think
It's just a weird thing.
if
though.
anybody's ever going to sponsor us, it should be Old Nations, man, because we drink the fuck out of their beer on this podcast and we love it. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Old
Um,
Nation.
what's up, Old Nation, man?
What's up?
And I'm not even a craft beer guy, but I love this stuff. It's delicious.
Same thing with Bugs. You know, he's not a craft beer drinker, but he loves the Boss Tweeds.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Those are
just go for-
delicious, but you
Really?
can only lay a couple of them down without laying out.
Oh yeah, for sure. They will fucking throw you a beat.
They will throw you down.
Well, speaking of talking about beers that'll throw you down, so I got a Founders Backwoods Bastard.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh.
Founders I go to a lot, and I think they're kind of to dark beers what Old Nations is to IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Well, Founders is good stuff.
yeah, ale aged in oak bourbon barrels,
Ooh, I had a Kentucky bourbon one like that. So good.
but it's 11%.
Ooh.
Yeah, that might.
So hurry up and
kick your
finish
butt.
this story before that gets.
You like that better than the KBS?
Um,
Because that KBS is delicious, but that's another 11 to 14% one.
Yeah. well, KBS is delicious, but
Something like that.
the KBS Mackinac Fudge
Oh yeah.
is
to
the
die
fucking.
for.
It's the beer. It's the best beer.
How about that? The CBS. You know that one yet?
I have had it a long time ago.
I heard it's better than the KBS as well.
Yeah, it's harder to get. It's the hardest
Okay.
to get of all the beers that Founders makes.
Do you have what's yours called? Backwood Bastards?
Backwoods Bastards.
Mine's a arrogant bastard.
We're going bastard style. On
There's
this.
a bunch
And
of
the-
bastards over there.
And this guy don't have a dad, so that's
Bunch of bastards. Oh, how fitting. Bunch of bastards with a bastard child here.
Well, and
I'm just going to call this a bastard 43.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a bastard 43 right here.
This is old bastard.
all right,
right.
we'll go ahead and get back at it.
Get back
So-
on the tracks.
So when we left off, Pro Lerner is on his way up the New England Mafia ladder, and he had a successful business going on the side with Red Kelly, who was planning up these crazy robberies. So the two together made a good team. January 1965, a criminal named Bobby Ramison tried to shake down Red Kelly.
Who's this guy think he is?
Right? Seems like a terrible idea, Bobby.
Right. Stay in your lane,
Hey,
Bob.
you don't shake down Red. We got the 6'2" guy going to hit you in the baseball bat across that head right there, I tell you.
Have you been listening to the podcast?
Have you seen my friend
No,
over here?
he hasn't.
So, Pro Lerner shot Bobby Ramison in the back of the head with a .38 and left his body in a snowbank in Wilmington, Massachusetts. In 1967, Red Kelly and two other men were arrested and charged with the Plymouth mail truck robbery.
Years later.
There was two other dudes?
Well, there was 6 of them that did it originally,
Oh.
but not all of them got arrested and
So
charged with
3 out of 6.
it. Yeah.
50-50
'Cause, like,
chance.
Lerner was in on that one. He wasn't getting convicted of it either.
Yeah.
Not the whole crew did, but 3 guys got popped on it somehow.
Oh. When's the Knox coming in? That's all I want to know.
One of the 3 men, Tommy Richards, Kelly didn't think would hold up under questioning.
Shoot him.
Days before the trial, Tommy Richards disappeared. Pro Lerner shot him execution style point blank while he cried to Red Kelly saying, "I never did anything to hurt you guys."
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That,
No.
that sucks, Tommy Richards.
Yeah,
But, you know,
I'm sorry.
Hey, dude,
Tommy.
that just goes ahead and proves the point. He wouldn't have held up in court.
right?
When he's on his knees crying.
That is a good call, Fred. He didn't hold up under questioning, right? He cried and fucking begged. Said he didn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt you guys, man.
Wouldn't do it. Just because you're crying like that?
Stop
I
being
think
a
that you
bitch.
would.
I think that's why
That's
Pro
why-
Lerner shot him. Like, yep,
Yeah.
see? You're right, he don't hold up.
This guy's singing here already. You hear him, Red? You hear him? Give me that gun.
Do I hear a little cry, baby? There's a quote. Red Kelly used a famous lawyer, F. Lee Bailey. So F. Lee Bailey is famous for being one of O.J. Simpson's lawyers on his dream team. F. Lee Bailey was quoted when he asked Red where Richards was. Kelly told him, "Well, Tommy won't be joining us." Both of the defendants got acquitted. And then later that year, 6 months later in December, the second defendant, who went by the name Billy A., his name was George Agistelis.
Where did Billy come from?
Right.
That was Billy A.
You're asking too many questions there.
He was a goat.
Go, man.
Pro Lerner shot him while they were both driving in Pro's car.
Oh. You were about to tell me?
Billy ain't going to be there for no meetings either.
In April 1968, the Patriarca family came to him for a big job. A bookie named Rudy Marfeo and his partner Anthony Melee were refusing to pay street tax. Well, they were either refusing to pay street tax or interfering with the family gambling operations, or both. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They're all death sentences.
Either way, you're fucked.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's like The Rock says in Fast Five. He said, "You're just 2 assholes whose names hit my desk." So, this is Lerner's biggest job so far. So he decides to bring in Red Kelly to help plan the getaway.
Big job, big planner.
And it's a good plan, right? Like, I got this down. You know, he comes up with the plan and we'll put this together.
He
And,
plans it, I execute it. It's a good team.
and
And
one,
like you said, he never forgets his people.
you dance with the girl that brought you, right? Like, well, I mean, I need this plan. I got this big gig.
I
You
know
get a
a
cut,
guy.
I get a cut. You know, it's all good.
So on April 20th, 1968, Marfeo and Malay were shot down in Panone's meat market in Providence, Rhode Island in the middle of the day.
In the meat market.
Throw them in the freezers.
That's a gay club in Rhode Island.
Meat market.
Both men were shot with shotguns. Marfeo in the side and Malay in the face.
Ooh, that ain't pro style, though. He's usually a pistol guy.
So that's Marfeo's pistol that he dropped is a 38. So he at least tried to yank his piece.
Man, it looks like you see the entry room.
Oh,
Wounds
that's
right
his
there,
gun that he
dude.
dropped.
Yeah.
Right through the side of the chest, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he got hit in the side and died. We don't got the picture of Malay. He got hit in the face with a shotgun.
We don't
That
want
vest was
You
not.
see his
bulletproof.
side. You can imagine what
Yeah.
the guy's face looked like.
That vest didn't protect too much.
So there's a whole bunch of speculation. So I read all kinds of articles, and some of them said they were there making collections, or they were there to set up a secret meeting. It seems like they were actually probably there shopping. It said they pulled up in a Buick, jumped out, ran in, shot both guys, bounced out in the car, was basically still moving, just took off.
They knew that they're going to be there. It's probably a stop, usual stop for them guys. I mean, they usually always had a routine what they did every day. So I bet you old Red was watching them for a while, figured it out, said, all right, this is the way he does, fellas. Go out and get him.
They got both guys got away clean. Nobody in the area would speak. So everything goes off smooth. The Patriarcha family, they're ecstatic. In late 1968, Red Kelly starts working on plans for a Brinks armed truck robbery.
He's like, hey, I did a mail truck in the past.
Right.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Seems to me like he likes trucks.
So Red Kelly he plans the robbery. But after he comes up with the plans, he doesn't like it. Seems like a couple times things went wonky, and he's like, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to do it. But on December 28th, 1968, they pulled off the robbery without him successfully, and they made away with $500,000 cash and then another $500,000 in securities.
Wow.
Nice. It's a good hit. And Red walked away, huh?
Well, except he was like, I know I walked away, but I did plan it, so I still want to cut.
Oh, you
And this is where things
motherfucker.
get a little crazy.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Well, he took the money and ended up connecting him into a Brinks employee that ended up getting investigated as an accomplice.
Ooh.
The police knew, okay, this seems like it had to be an inside job, so they started investigating Brinks guys, and they come up with a guy, and that guy they caught trying to pay Red Kelly. So he probably should have just not took the fucking money, but he got
Would've been
greedy
clean.
once it went off and shit,
Right.
and he's like, I want my money.
Every
money
gangster's
man, I want my money
They
man.
get greedy.
He wasn't involved with it or even looked
He
at
was, but wasn't.
until he got paid.
Well, he could at least pleaded if you didn't take the money. He would have been, I had no part
Well,
of it.
yeah, I mean, everybody else gonna snitch, right? But yeah, this
Once
dude
you get the
planned
cash,
He did plan it, so that's not nothing.
it. Right.
and then once you have cash in hand, you're part of it. You're an accomplice.
So
Excuse me.
Nice, Lorraine.
Thanks.
That bastard's going down smooth.
I see why you're on this podcast.
A regular Bonnie.
it's that arrogant bastard, man. It'll do it.
It's because I have titties.
To gather all the titties around the world.
It's not a podcast with tone without titties.
Beat you to it.
I love titties.
I'm high. Titties are funny. Sorry, Lot.
Hey, Tone. I like titties too.
And that's been titty talk. Would say hello to the bad guys.
That's our titty talk for the evening.
So now Red Kelly gets caught up, and they pull him out in front of a grand jury, and they charge him with conspiracy to commit this bank robbery.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's 55 years old, and he's got no out. Like, he's caught dead.
So remember that feeling he was having
Yeah.
when it made him pull out? That's it.
Yeah.
But he backtracked on his own thinking when it went off.
Right.
So, yeah, it goes off, and then he's like, oh, I was wrong. Give him
Oh.
my piece.
Wrong decision.
Real bad pullout
Always
game.
go with your gut.
Yeah.
Bad pullout game for him.
It's very bad.
Red Kelly decides he's going to turn state's evidence.
Snitch.
Wow.
And the biggest thing he has is that he offers to turn in pro Lerner on the murder of these two guys
No.
because he could tie it back to Raymond Patriarcha.
Son of a bitch.
Wow.
Pro never forgot Red, but Red forgot
Right. The last person I expected to snitch
Trust no
was
one.
Red.
His defense on why he ratted was he said Pro Lerner was homicidal and the most dangerous man he had knew in 25 years of criminal life.
Damn.
Pro. Well, he's probably not wrong.
Thanks for the review.
It's a
Pro
Google
chalked that up on
review.
more stats.
Gave him so much information that it led to the arrest of 4 ranking members of the Patriarcha family, including Raymond Patriarcha himself.
Damn.
So it was Pro Lerner and the rest of the Patriarcha family. And they kind of separated it too. Like, well, we're all Italians from Rhode Island. He's like a Jew from Boston. I don't really know this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
We're from Rhode Island. I don't
You're
know
on your
this.
own, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, like, we're the mob. Like, that was cool, that thing. But,
Thanks,
yeah.
thanks for your help.
Just Jews hanging out with... Yeah.
Thanks, but no thanks. We're good, bro.
We had different accents. I don't know that guy.
At this point in time, we're gonna cut ties.
Yeah.
The police arrested Lerner at his home, where he was with his wife and kids.
That pissed him off.
They found his gun case with a pump-action shotgun and a pearl-handled .45,
Whole shooting range in the basement.
and a shooting range in the basement.
Did you say with a pro handle?
Yeah, pearl-handled .45.
Oh, pro handle.
Pearl.
So that's how I knew it wasn't bullshit earlier when I said it, because I knew at some point in the story the cops raid his house and they're like,
Yeah, got a whole fucking shooting range down there.
They're like, damn, so jealous of this guy.
Right,
That's better than at the station.
right.
Marine.
all the defendants were convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and sentenced to 10 years. Lerner was also convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to 2 additional life sentences to run concurrently with the 10 years.
Yeah.
When he got sent to jail, he was 34 years old. At that point, there was still 14 guys playing in the major leagues that had played with him
Oh, really?
in the system
Fuck.
coming
How
up.
many?
14.
Wow.
That all said he was better than him.
Hey, fast money.
Yeah, money in your hand today.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
When they sent him to prison, he was sent to the prison's north wing, and it was an area ran by a powerful patriarchal associate. And the rules were really lax. I read a story about like a local detective or something that had been at the jail for a function or something, and they had a big thing of lobsters and steaks, and they were like, what's the fuck is all that? And they're like, oh, they're having a party today. Like, it was basically you could do whatever you want except leave.
Regular good fellas.
Yeah. But Lerner chose not to get involved in the prison life. All the connected guys gave him a pass out of respect because he didn't talk. Because normally they'd have been like, well, you're over here in the gangster section. You're on the team.
Right.
And he was like, nah, I'm just going to do my own thing. And they're like, all right, that's cool. He didn't snitch. And he's probably big as fuck. He might just
Yeah.
So
be
they
like-
had no reason to take him out or anything.
No, he didn't snitch. He didn't rat no
Let
one
him
out.
live his life.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
doing his time. I'm done.
Yeah, he earned his right to do his time, basically.
Right.
At one point, some guy that was interviewed, he said he did his time like 10 men. He would read regularly, and he prided himself on learning a new word every day.
He
So
probably worked his ass off doing his workouts.
Yes, he worked his ass off. He was tested out as having the second highest IQ in the prison.
Wow.
So it's true that he was a smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making bad decisions.
He stayed in phenomenal shape. He spent a lot of time on a from prison project that he worked on where he was an advocate for the health benefits of raw vegetables.
Nice.
Anyone doing life sentences, eat these broccoli.
Went to prison and started writing letters to newspapers like, hey, you know what? People need to eat more vegetables, bro. This shit's good for you.
And we need to get rid of this bread.
One thing he was known for, though, he'd always go silent around prison officials. So since he was like a model prisoner and shit, and he was cool, like sometimes they kind of try and come be chummy with him, and he'd always just shut down, like right out the bat.
Yeah, nobody's going outside the prison walls saying, I seen him talking to the guard.
Cop shows up, he just turns into the fetal position.
As soon as he talks to one, that's when his privileges run out.
Right.
There was a detective commander of the Rhode Island State Police, Brian Andrews, who described Pro Lerner. He said, he was a disciplined guy, the coldest, hardest guy there. And Pro wouldn't talk. Sometimes he'd look at you and wouldn't even answer your questions.
That's intimidation.
Well, what can you do when he just shuts up? He ain't back talking. He's still being a model prisoner.
Yeah.
He just ain't answering.
He's not answering us.
I
Dave
will
Chappelle.
not talk to you.
Right.
Dave Chappelle, fifth.
Right. The fifth.
Prison record indicated it was said he conformed strictly to the rules of the
The institution.
yeah, he conformed strictly to the rules of the institution. Yeah, thank you.
Damn bastard beers.
In 1980, he saved a prison guard that was being strangled by another
Oh,
inmate.
here we go.
He saved him.
Saving the
Is
saving the guard
He's
always
get-
works in your favor.
Yeah. He's getting our early release.
He's
That
getting
dude-
one of those life sentences
Right.
knocked off.
He's getting a prison cape.
Model citizen motherfucker.
Right.
I just know that because you were on the Chavez episode and we talked about that. It's come up a couple times where you think, well, that would never happen. But it does sometimes.
Hey,
and it
bad
always
guys.
works out. and shit.
Save yourself a prison guard.
Never happens until it happens.
He subdued the prisoner and helped the CO to the infirmary. He had a commendation put in his file for heroic action.
Heroic.
So you said a hero, like it said it. You put
I'm
it
a
like,
fucking
hey,
hero, motherfucker.
we're gonna put that in the record.
That's
Hey,
a stat.
Because it's going to help him on 2 life sentences and a 10-year stint.
Yeah, it's a stat. He's in prison counting
Stat.
stats now.
He marked that on his wall.
I was
bet he
the
was.
one
I
that
bet he
saved
was
that
keeping
guard.
stats still.
Hey, he had that wrote up on his wall.
When he goes to court, I saved a guard.
Right.
I was really
Right,
good. I
right,
didn't back talk.
I didn't complain about lunch.
At one point, he got to do like work release programs, and then he would end up working like as a trustee in the work release program. Like,
Damn.
never looked sideways.
He's
just
like
you
your ideal employee.
know? Yeah.
Why
He
is it
heard a
seeming like
story.
Shawshank Redemption right now?
He's like, you know what? This hot shot shit didn't fucking work well for me, man. I don't want to be a hot
Here.
shot. No more.
Just tell me what to do, I'll do it.
Marine.
So his wife Irene moved closer to the prison, and she'd come visit him with the kids regularly.
Oh.
So his kids loved him. Like when they see him, they come run to him and shit. He had a concrete block wall installed in his son's backyard so he could practice his soccer kicks.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And then from prison, he learned about soccer like every way he could to try and help coach his son from prison on how to be a soccer player.
Hey,
So he's in there drawing plays on some, mailing plays out to the kid.
he's making sure he didn't end up like him.
So his son Glenn actually said that's exactly what his dad did. At some point, his dad was even real hard on him.
Mm.
He'd be like, "Hey, why don't you leave me the fuck alone? You're in prison." You know what I'm saying? What are you telling me what to do? You're in prison. He'd be like, "I know. You want to end up in fucking prison?
Right, you want to
Hey.
end up like me?
What? You're good at soccer? Yeah, I know. You know how good I fucking was? 364 as a senior, motherfucker. I'm a goddamn Marine. Look at me.
Right.
I fought for the
played-
nation, and look what happened.
Right, I fought. I'm a Marine and a fucking ball.
And I was a
player.
baller, and I'm still behind here, son. So you're going to go out there and kick the fuck out them balls. Do you understand me? Kick the fuck out the balls, and you're going to stay
Keep
out of
kicking
here.
those balls.
Kick the balls.
He became a player coach of the prison softball team, and their team was real dope, and they'd
They
play
was-
anybody.
Of course.
They have a softball team?
Yeah. They had a fucking.
The longest yard of softball.
Longest.
That's weird.
They had the dopest fucking softball team like in the fucking county.
Hey, played by Adam Sandler. He's Jewish.
Hey. Oh.
Hey.
Hey, we ain't up that segment yet.
Oh yeah.
But they would, dude, they'd play the guards, they'd play firemen, they'd play athletic clubs, they'd play any other prisons. The only rule was because they were a maximum security prison, they weren't allowed to leave. So it was always
Always
Home
on their
home game.
Right.
you do got to come here,
Yeah.
but we will fucking play you.
Don't mind us batting in cuffs, do you?
At one point, he reached out to one of his minor league coaches, who was now executive for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and said he had a kid that he thought could play ball, and they sent a scout to come watch the kid play.
Nice.
Damn.
Another time, he got special privileges. He got special privileges to work with one of the prison counselor's 12-year-old sons on his batting mechanics in the yard. In 1988, while investigating a corrupt federal agent, Red Kelly ended up admitting to lying in a part of the story at the agent's urging. So he's like, well, look, everything I
Loophole.
told you is true. but the part where I said I personally met with Raymond Patriarca was a lie.
The whole case
Okay.
thrown out now.
So, well, and then the FBI agent that told him to do it was also a witness and also told the same story. So now they had 2 counts of perjury.
Pros getting out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Case dismissed.
Case dismissed.
Wow.
Due to perjury of 2 witnesses, the Rhode Island Supreme Court overturned the case. Because of his exemplary prison record, he was able to plead no contest to the charges and was
Nice.
released on time served.
What the?
I'm so happy
what?
about this bad guy getting out right now.
His life's much better after prison.
So he gets released. He declines offers to go back to criminal work. So the Patriarca family's like, hey, if you want to come back, we got a spot.
Got some work for you, bro.
Man.
And he was like, no,
Fuck
I'm good.
you.
Well, and then the Patriarcha was like, well, look, we'll still hook you up either way. He was in prison for, 20 fucking years.
You're a
And he's a
snitch.
snitch and shit. We'll just hook you up with some cash. And he still was like, nah.
Really?
I don't know.
I would have took the cash.
I would have too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I ain't
Yeah.
fucking with y'all no
But
more.
Yeah,
that's
but
how-
see, you see
Yeah,
what
I'll
happened.
take that.
Yeah, but you see what happened to Red when he just took
Right.
cash.
That's how Red got caught.
Once you
again.
got
Yeah.
that cash in hand, you're still part. You're still
Right.
accomplished.
It's like I'm gonna go meet with some fucking doofus,
Yeah.
that just started. I've been in prison for 18 years. He's been a
we're
gangster
just-
for 6 months.
do
He's
you-
gonna get caught.
And then again, is anything free in this world? You think they're just handing out cash just for fun?
Right, they're gonna.
Yeah.
No,
Need 'em
that
one day.
eventually is going to come into play.
Yeah.
He moved his family to California and then later to Las Vegas. So by this time, both of his kids had attended Duke. And then
Damn.
his son Glenn had played on the 1986 championship soccer team. By a matter of months, he got out of prison in time to attend his son's graduation from Tulane Law School.
Wow, he went to Duke and in law school,
Yeah.
Damn.
so his kid's smart as well.
Right. He's
Huh.
pissed.
Well, let's make sure his kids were taken care of. You have to give him that.
Look like he passed the jeans on.
Smart genes, not gangsta.
Several years after his release, his wife contracted and died of cancer.
Oh,
Contracted?
Well, I mean, I don't know. So she was diagnosed and died of cancer. So real quick, like within a matter of years. So he gets out. They're cool.
Damn.
They're living the dream. The doctor's like, hey, she has cancer. And then, yeah.
aw, that's sad. Well, at least the kid's got a parent.
Kids are done grown up by now.
Lerner never remarried, and he spent most of his time with his grandkids. Or he'd sometimes help his son with work at his law firm. He had like a personal injury law firm. His son started his own business and
Yeah.
shit. It really makes me feel like they went to a fucking great school and fucking opened his own business. Like, he had to have had some fucking money they stashed away.
Oh,
from
he had
his
money
kids to
stashed
fucking-
away.
Yeah,
there ain't no
'cause they
doubt
had,
about
like-
it, because
The first mail truck they hit over $1 million.
In his old age, Lerner began suffering from dementia.
Aw.
And then he fell and broke his hip.
typical
Hey.
old people shit. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, what is he, my fucking grandpa all of a sudden?
He don't
Like
get-
what? He
You
doesn't
can't go from pro to that, you son of a bitch.
Now he doesn't remember shit and he hurt himself. Like,
He
Right.
don't. He don't hear very well.
No, I need a new hip and brain.
he's got this weird nose hair that's always real long.
You're sick.
Eyebrows a giant.
In 2013, he passed away of natural causes at 77 years old.
Wow.
2013.
Yeah.
Wow.
One thing that comes up a lot if you hear about Pro Lerner is Fat Vinny ended up snitching at one point too.
Shocker.
Right.
Motherfucker was offered a steak.
So one of the things he had, there's documents that the CIA in the early 60s had went to the mafia to see about recruiting them to assassinate Castro.
I
So-
heard about that.
So there's a lot of, we won't get too far into that. Like that could be like an episode
That's a
someday
whole new
maybe we
yeah.
cover and shit. But there's this plot for that. Fat Vinny said that he knew about that and Raymond Patriarca had said he wanted to have Lerner on that one. And I even found that on the CIA website, like in their information and shit.
I couldn't think of anyone better offhand than Lerner right now.
It seems like the story's probably bullshit though, because at the time that it was, he was still playing like it was
Ball.
like towards the end. He was still actually playing ball, so it was like towards the end.
Oh.
And I don't think he was at that point then. Like I think he got there.
I think
But-
that you had to check dates with that one.
Yeah. So Patriarcha denied it and Lerner denied it, but of course, the mob boss and the hitman both said they didn't do
Well,
Right.
it. So
then
who
again,
knows?
would the mob boss talk to Lerner about it at that point? If he's considering someone, would he actually mention it to him?
Right, you wouldn't tell him until
You're
it's
not
go
telling him,
time.
hey, you're going to go do this.
Well, look, it's out there To me, it doesn't add up, but I really like it. And I mean, fuck it, it's
I
our
like
show.
it.
We can do whatever we want.
Right.
So I
You
say,
know what?
I
Fucking
say
A, they did it.
Yeah. So if the CIA was going to have the mob kill Castro,
Lerner
it would have
was the
been
man.
Pro Lerner. That's the story of Pro Lerner.
So say good night to the bad guy. Go on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
So you guys haven't seen a picture yet.
Oh, I'm so
No,
excited.
we have not.
So if we were gonna, I got a bunch of pictures of them too. So if we were gonna do a movie about Pro Lerner, who would you cast to play him?
So this is a
Son of
over
a- I'm
6
bad at
foot
this.
Jewish dude
Right.
that we're talking about.
Will Ferrell.
Right. This is Seth Rogen. I have no idea
Oh shit.
who's all beasted out as a Jewish guy. It's an actor.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a Jewish guy, dude. They're actors.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Do any of you guys watch Mrs. Maisel?
I do.
Remember her big boyfriend that she ended up dumping? The guy that played Shazam.
Oh.
Oh yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Okay.
I like him.
And he's like a real life
He's
Jewish guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
He's a big dude. He looked like he'd be like a baseball player.
Yep. And he's tall.
Hmm. He's not like super huge, but
I'm really trying to think of it because I'm really bad at this part. Honestly, I could probably see like I don't know how tall Tatum Tanning or what's his name? Tatum.
That's not how any of those words work.
Whatever. Chatham. No.
And also, I speak whiskey, so I know who you're talking about.
But
Channing Tatum.
that's it. That guy.
Channing.
See?
But he's not.
That's that Blanton's connection.
Well, no,
Shit,
I'm just-
He's not tall.
I didn't say tall, but I'm just saying like because you can see a stocky dude, I can see him playing like a gangster type thing. Does he look Jewish? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he could play. I mean, it is acting. I think Channing Tatum.
I mean, back then, I'm sure that they all had the slick back hair and all that stuff to a certain point.
the actor guy I was talking about, his name is Zachary Levi.
Well, I'm just
Yeah,
saying with the
yeah.
workout ethic because Channing, whatever the fuck his name
Channing
is.
Tatum.
Yeah, that guy.
That's your kryptonite. Like, you've been fighting all day, but that one word just.
But I'm just bad with names, dude. Horrible. But just having a workout, I mean, he had a good physique, so I mean, I could just see someone like that playing him.
Well, and then automatically, if we're selling the movie, all the chicks are coming because we got Channing
Right.
Tatum.
Dude, you
and
gotta
some
have
talent.
someone hot in there, right?
You guys got anybody before I show you the picture?
I like the guy you picked. I said Will Ferrell off the bat.
Will
like,
Ferrell?
Will Ferrell does not have the abs. Just
But
saying.
he's big, though. Whatever. He could be like a
But he is like
big,
6
gumpy
foot, so-
baseball player and shit.
ooh,
I think you should play him like
Frank the Tank. Frank the Tank.
What about Hugh Jackman?
if Will Ferrell played him, he'd have to play it like Talladega Nights. and
Oh.
shit. Like,
I would just see Elf.
Dude, have John C. Reilly as Red.
That's so funny.
we make that movie.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So here's a picture of
Let's
Pro
see it.
Lerner.
Here we go.
Oh, no,
That's
Castro.
Fidel Castro.
Who's that Castro?
Oh,
I never
was
pictured him as being
like,
Jewish.
I was like, it's Tank.
Hey.
So that's Castro. They didn't kill him. My bad. So that's a baseball picture
Oh, it
of
looks
him.
Really?
like Tom Hanks.
He does not look as
Okay.
big as I figured.
Kinda
Dude,
looks
you
like
ain't
Tom
kidding.
Hanks.
That looks like Tom Hanks.
All right, can we see one without the uniform?
Yeah.
He looks high as hell in the left one.
It looks like Marky Mark.
No. Oh, dude, you know what? Marky Mark would be good now that I see him. I do like that. Marky Mark could be him.
We're gonna get in trouble for saying Marky Mark.
And you already got, I'm sorry, Mark
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 Wahlberg.
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 Maybe
Or Donnie Wahlberg could
Donnie's
even.
taller.
Well, if Donnie had the hair.
I would go Donnie.
He could get a
Donnie with a wig.
Donnie's cheaper.
Yeah, Donnie's way cheaper. And they
Donnie's
both have the accent. They're both badass dudes. Hey, you know what? They're both fit and bad dudes. I mean, back in the day when they're kids, they used to fight.
His side profile looks like he don't have a nose.
Yeah, he looked like an alien.
Eh.
Like
he don't have a
gray-
Jufro though.
Are we allowed to say Jufro?
I don't know.
Seth Rogen gets away with it. Why not?
I heard a lot
He's
of.
Jewish though. So this is him after he got out of prison.
Why does he look like
In that
Bear?
sweater.
Dude, that middle one, he looks like Bear Grylls.
He's a big dude.
No, he looks like a Footloose guy. Bacon.
David Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon.
David
David
Bacon.
Kevin
Whoops.
Bacon.
I don't know, man. He looks like Bear Grylls in the middle. Is that his
Yeah,
what he's
I
with
think-
on the left?
Yeah. So that's a picture of him and his wife.
Oh, that's his wife.
Oh, his wife?
Can you imagine fucking with that dude like you're just talking shit to him about a stupid sweater?
Knowing that he'd just kill your ass. Like, no problem.
So who I thought could play is
Bear Grylls.
John
Jim Carrey?
John Krasinski.
Who the hell's that?
So Jim from The Office.
Oh yes, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
How dare you use
Is
real
that the
names?
dude from Quiet Place or
Yeah, I think so.
the aliens or whatever?
Yeah, he's like a director and
Supposed
shit
to be
now.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yes. But I think like he did like some of that agent shit too, like Jack Ryan.
Yeah, Jack Ryan. That's a good
Hey.
choice.
So now we gotta do the DEFCON scale. The standard DEFCON scale is 5 to 1, 5 being the lowest, 1 being the highest. But on the Bad Guy podcast, nobody's good guy. So 5 is Lee Murray, who's your bank robbing, coke dealing, kidnapper. And at 1 you got the Purple Gang, who's got multiple gang wars, multiple massacres, and they're killing people on the street. So on a scale of Lee Murray to the Purple Gang, where would you rate Pro Lerner?
I'd say 3.
I agree.
Because he shot some people, but he liked his family.
Yeah, he was a family man. He
He's a hero.
he was a hero in prison. He played his part.
And he was a good dad.
So that's why I'm leaning towards 4.
No, I'm leaning for a 3 because he did what he had to do. It's not like he wanted to go out there and do that, but
He was a baseball player, and he chose.
right. But like it was about the money though, right?
Right.
Like he was only making.
He was doing what he
$700.
could do for money,
Fucking-
and he was good at it. But yet, I don't think he was a bad dude. Because if he was really that bad of a guy, he wouldn't have been the model dude like that he was at home. And then
He
like
shot
how
a guy
he was.
in the face.
Yeah, I mean he's done some dirt
Oh,
though.
He shot the guy in the back of the head.
Well, some people gotta go.
He's a
I don't know what
3.
to say.
I mean, you commit
Yeah.
crime though, it's,
You know,
it's,
I mean,
it's
because
a bad thing.
I mean, yeah, crime is bad, of course, but I mean, I don't think that he was as bad as
Not
what
that
people. I
bad.
don't think he's a bad dude.
That's why
I
he's
don't
at
think they'd just kill you to kill you.
But he.
There's
shot-
reasons.
But he'll kill you for a price.
Right.
And that makes you a
definitely kill you
killer.
for a price.
That makes you a goddamn contract
Hey,
killer.
if it's gonna
Oh.
put some fucking
He'd-
if it's gonna put my kids
People gotta
to
eat.
Duke,
People gotta eat.
He beat
I'll
a-
do it.
He beat a guy
People gotta
with.
eat.
He beat a guy with a bat. Like he might be
Oh, you know
getting
what?
closer to a 2.
Maybe I could go 3 with y'all.
Okay.
No, you could do 4. We
Oh, yeah,
still gotta
4.
see where Locke's at.
Well, I'm gonna go 3 because I think he did put up a bunch of bodies, but I mean, look, he advocated raw vegetables, so did Michelle Obama.
Marine.
So he's basically a
Oh,
fucking
Marine.
same thing.
Marine.
But I would say a 3, so that would make it a majority 3.
SAC, this is Crystal Palace. Inc. NORAD has declared DEFCON 3. Scramble all alert aircraft. I repeat, scramble all alert aircraft.
All right. Well, this is say hello to the bad guy. Thanks for coming and thanks for listening.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Support local.